Hello and welcome to our Shenmue the Animation After Show. This is episode number 3 we're going to be talking about. I'm your host George, and with me is Barry.
I'm doing my Robert De Niro face.
I could tell.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I like that Shenmue show.
You wanted to say something before we started the episode?
Yeah. So we are 3 deep. And so, of course, we'll have people watching these every week, which we really appreciate, and also leaving comments. And, we prepare a little bit for these shows, but really we're coming in with just our thoughts on the show, and sometimes we're pulling memories from the games, but we can't Google as we're talking. So thankfully, you guys catch us when we say certain things that might not be entirely accurate. So I just want to touch on 2. So. One is that I believe in the last episode I made it sound like the English voice actor for Ryo was back for the show. He's not. I caught that actually when we did our Shenmue 3 episode, which is actually, I forgot to post it yesterday. So I'm going to be posting that as you guys are seeing this. That'll be up on the website and on our YouTube channel. Another comment talked about the sailors, because I made a comment last week about how I liked how they changed the line about the sailors because it was a little bit too much of a meme. And I always thought it was like a mistranslation, but this is interesting. So Daniel Mann said it wasn't a mistranslation. He says it's a direct translation of what is actually said in Japanese. If anything, that is the original game's biggest flaw. It's so slavish to the original Japanese text that it sometimes reveals why those 2 languages don't always play nicely together. And I totally get that, because I've watched some anime where I'm like, this is stilted. Like, the way people talk is so, we see that with the Yakuza games. Anyway, Japanese text, let's see. A lot of Shenmue's issues boil down to too literal a script. I think it needed a better translation. As for the sailors, they did actually mention sailors in Shenmue the anime. It's odd the sailors line doesn't really bother me in the game, especially once you realize they're in a port town, and it's very common to see sailors walking about casually. And he's been to Yokosuka, but he's glad they changed it for the anime just to avoid the meme. So, yeah.
I think the issue was, in the game, it was just repeated so much to the absurdity, right. You know what I mean? So, when you do the anime and you do one line, I think it's fine.
And let's be honest, too. People played up the, he's looking to go, find some sexy sailors. That's what they...
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So the episode, I mean, it starts up right away with new content. The new content is basically Shenmue in the village again, and they kind of start talking more about the poem, which she heard the old lady talk about. I forget her name from Shenmue 3, the one that's always hitting the whatever that thing is, wheat. She's making bread or something.
Yeah.
And then she they talk about the legendary hero that's coming from across the ocean. Isn't this kind of in the anime they play up more the aspect of Ryu being like Luke Skywalker or Paul from Dune, the legendary hero, the chosen one? What do you think about these changes here? In the actual game, you just hear the poem in the beginning and then you meet Shenmue, right? In this, it's constantly telling you.
I like that because, in the game, the only time you really see her is that opening cutscene, which plays out even when you don't start a game. It's just kind of like pre-credits or pre-title screen. And yeah, they definitely do a great job, I think, in the anime, establishing more that she's waiting for him. So I think it's going to be a really big moment when they finally come together, which will happen in the anime because they're going to be adapting 1 and 2 for this. I believe that's been confirmed. I don't know how much of 3 they'll be adapting, but it's very interesting that they're setting so much up for 3 in 1, which I love. I think it's great.
I agree, and I actually like that it's doing the whole archetype of a hero or whatever. He has the struggles, but they're obviously hinting at he's a tool or a greater tool for at least this village and people, I guess. So we'll see how that goes. The next bit, this is actually a very small bit, but this is something that I actually kind of like that the anime does. But basically, the kid that Ryu helps with the soccer ball, he has to. His grandparents are the ones that know Chinese, so they're tied with the antique or the pottery shop or whatever you talk to. so it gives more context. I don't know if in the game they were tied together or not.
They were. I believe though that Ryo's doing 2 different tasks. It's like he's asking around to find someone like a professional, but then that boy helps him out. However, I think he picks up on the boy being Chinese or part Chinese at the same time as that cutscene with the soccer ball, because when I was watching, the boy's like "shit," or whatever, and Ryo's like, "Wait, that's Chinese. Do you know any people who speak Chinese?" And he learns it then. This one just kind of spaces their reunion apart a little, and I think too, the little boy might tell him, "Oh, my grandma works at this shop," which is where you get that clue to go see her.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
And then this leads to our hero basically getting the phone number, which, you know what, in the game, it obviously it made you do it, right? Like the whole like code words or whatever to get the phone number.
Right.
In this one, he just like figures it out right away. It's kind of weird, but the anime does this more where gameplay moments are just like boiled down to the most like 4 or 5 seconds they could do. So like right here we have him do it real quick, and then we actually I think, and so after this whole phone number, we find out that you have to go to warehouse number 8, which actually starts disc number 2 in the video game. So at this point, after this call, it's disc number 2 in the video game. So we have a whole disc in less than 3 episodes. So they did hurry up some of the plot points, you know what I mean? I think the next character is going to be somebody you want to talk more about, some mugger that's trying to mug people. Goro, it makes his triumphant, I guess, introduction for the anime, and in this one, he got redesigned. His shirt got redesigned a little bit. It's still the same vibe, and his face is different. What do you think about the redesign?
I don't mind the face so much. I kind of liked his little like scrunchy face in the game a bit more, but you see that across the board with the designs. A lot of the characters kind of had fixed eyebrows, like they would either be kind of grumpy or a little confused. Mainly for the NPCs, Ryo was a little more expressive. But I actually didn't like his shirt. I loved his original shirt. I actually liked it so much, about 10 years ago, drew it and recreated it in Illustrator. And it's this like weird red-haired guy giving a thumbs up, and it says "bow," B-A-O.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's just a star with a thumb. But I get it, because for animation, you're gonna have to recreate that for every frame. And typically, when it's a shirt that's that detailed, they will like overlay the graphic and then resize it depending on where the character is. And I think they're doing that for Ryo's jacket in a lot of the scenes, but I can imagine they don't want to do that for every character. Even Tom, I think, had a picture of himself on his shirt, I think, and it said hot dogs.
Yeah.
And that was simplified. So, I just hope we get more of Goro's personality, because in this one he was just kind of like, he was a little funny, but he didn't do the whole like, my name's Harbor Goro, come to me if you need a place to go find a leak. Yeah. He's like, I know all the great places to go pee in the harbor. And a lot of people love the Goro from Yakuza, but to me, my heart will always be with Goro. And I wish I brought it out. I have a little Goro figure I made, a little vinyl figure I made. But yeah, I love him.
Yeah, he's totally way more goofy in the video game, and I actually really, really like that about his character. I feel like this is something you need, but the anime does like after this we have the whole warehouse thing, which was weird. It was like so awkward because in the game, I think it's a divisive part of the video game. People like don't like the warehouse sneaking because it's kind of janky a little bit. And in this one, he gets caught right away, and then he goes to the Chins, the underground, where he finds out more about the ChiU Min. But they also, I think I have it more in the notes deep down under, but also their relationship, father and son relationship, was more fleshed out in this anime than it was in the video game. Here, he's not allowed to call him father because he's taken he's part of the cartel or whatever they are, the gang. and
Right.
he really like starts to connect with Ryu and his quest to find out about his father and have his revenge. And I thought that was pretty well done, way better than it was done in the video game, because I really do not like this character in the video game, to be honest with you. Chen, I think he's kind of annoying. What do you think about him in the video game compared to the anime?
Yeah, in the video game, it's kind of, to me, kind of climactic to find him, and he's just like this little guy in a red robe, and he's a little boring as the character to me. When we did our Sega Talk episode for Shenmue 2, I think I said one of the strengths of Shenmue 2 was that like the secondary characters, not like the little NPCs in the background like Goro or something, or Tom, but like I feel like Joy and Ren are so much better designed than, you know, Master Chen and I'm already forgetting his name. Like, he's just not a memorable character to me, neither one of them. So I like that the anime is expanding on their relationship a little bit more, giving a little tension. I don't really want to talk too much about other people's reviews of this show online, but there are some websites that seem to be keeping up with it every week. And one I read, they gave this episode a 5 out of 10, whereas last week they gave it, I think, like an 8 out of 10. And their reasoning was it didn't present really anything new. It just felt like a bunch of video game cutscenes adapted. And I have to disagree, because I feel like this anime is expanding a lot more on Master Chen and his, don't call me daddy situation. Because you get a lot more emotion in the character's eyes. Like, you can see that his son is actually really respecting Ryo for having this like love for his father and going out and doing this for him, whereas Chen's just like, when we're dead, then you can call me dad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I really liked about this episode. And it's funny that they say it's just a bunch of cutscenes, because I think a lot of the gameplay moments were kind of brushed aside in this episode. Like, they were working more on, like, I feel like they try to add more to what the characters were, and I think that's what makes this episode good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we have a minor character that also has a redesign. Actually, first they show more Landese scenes, right? They had him roughing up the some shop owner,
right.
for Yeah, I actually really like this. I don't know if it's just the translation I got, but they said they called him an executive of the ChiU Min, and I'm assuming they meant member of the ChiU Min, but translations could be spotty. So I thought it was interesting. I really like that they show more of his dark side, that he's not a good person. This is something that they don't really do in the video game enough, is show other people's what they're doing or what they've done in the past or whatever. It's always through Ryu's point of view, so it's cool to have these scenes.
Right.
Another minor character we saw was Nozomi's sister, Mai Chan. Is that her name? She's not very like.
Friend.
Is there a friend?
Right?
It's not her sister. Are you sure? I thought I 100%. Yeah, they have the same last name. They're actually related, oddly enough.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm wrong, but let me see. But anyway,
I have the strategy guide with every single character's.
Maybe I'm wrong, but regardless, she has a new look. I thought that they changed the look because it matched her sister being a Canadian or whatever, and that's why she also got a redesign. But they kept the same. They kept the same outfit though. Exactly the same, which I thought was cool. I always thought that the schoolgirl outfits in the Shenmue game were weird because just the colors they used. I never seen anything like that in the school.
Her sister works at the lunch spot at the harbor, so she's not related. I think they're just friends.
Isn't this the one that Goro wants to date?
I believe Goro wants to marry her and have enough children to start his own baseball team.
All right, that's a lot of kids. How many baseball? Like 14, 15?
Don't you need like 9?
9? Okay. I thought it was more than that. Whew. All right. After this, we also got the iconic
26 update. He wants 26 kids.
I feel bad for this girl. I'm gonna be honest with you. 26 kids. Wow. Yeah, I'm good. That's a lot.
Yeah.
After this, we got the sparring scene with Fukusan from the game, and then we had the whole like him finding the secret room. They obviously it's not exactly like the video game, but this is But I thought it was weird. I didn't put the picture in the notes, but when Ryu finds the Phoenix mirror, it literally shines a flashlight to the picture of him and his father, right? And I was like, that's so video gamey. It has to be in the video game. So I googled the cutscene. It's not in there. There is no light like that. So that was the weird part. I was like, they added this for the anime. Oh, and then they do the whole iconic picture. I think this picture of Lan Di's father with Ryu's father is probably the most iconic thing. I mean, item you get in the first game.
Absolutely.
And they recreated it. Obviously, they also made Lan Di's father look less Chinese, I think, or more anime at least than it does in the old original. And the only other thing I wanted to talk about was this picture they showed when they were talking about the ChiU Min and talking about the mirrors, and when they're together, they showed this weird, like, I don't know what it is. It has like a fork in one hand and an axe in the other hand, and it's like a fat demon. Like, and they kept on showing it throughout the episode. Was this in the game?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
That was interesting. I thought. There's like a little demon.
This is something we'll bring up now, and then people will say, actually, it was in the game. So, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm looking up the ChiU Min right now, like on the Shenmue wikis and things like that. Let's see if it shows up on the wiki, then it most definitely is. But no, you know what? The symbol of the ChiU Min as it appears on Lan Di's tattooed arm, it almost looks like it's just a head. It's got like a spike coming out of the top, big long ears, and then teeth coming out from the bottoms. Is that what this looks like? Not
really.
No, not at all.
No. It looks like a little demon thing, dude. Like literally, like an old deity or something from the old days.
Yeah, that's very interesting. No, I'm not seeing that.
Also, the episode ends with like the whole tie-in of the fathers and Chin and Ryu, and basically them telling them that the Mad Angels work with Lan Di, so he's setting them up on the path through the underworld, and that's kind of how the episode ends. So, any thoughts you want to say about episode 3?
I thought it was a solid episode. I honestly, I think once we watch all of these, there's not going to be one that's like, oh, that was filler, or that was boring. I mean, every episode's going to introduce something that's going to be either a piece of the puzzle or introduce an interesting character, or further Ryo's journey. I enjoyed it. I think my only disappointments would be that Goro wasn't nearly as crazy as he was in the game. But then again, we're not through the anime yet. He is in the intro, and he looks pretty wild, so I'm sure we'll get more of him. I just hope we get him moving around a little more and like crouching down and talking about peeing. Like if he talks about peeing, then I will give this whole series like a 10 out of 10. That's just me.
So tell us what you guys think about episode 3 of Shenmue the animation in the comments below. What do you guys think about Goro not talking about peeing? Is that like a deal breaker for you guys? Let us know. See you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bye.